episode of Fireside Yarns with Vinno, recent Daver. Boys, how are we tonight?
Not bad, mate. Yourself, lads? How's going?
Yeah, good.
Doing good. Oh, a bit of a cheers.
The trio.
Yes.
first,
Yes, sir.
first episode is a set trio. We haven't got any surprises for you tonight. Not like last week where it was a impromptu recruitment campaign as well. But
Probably won't be as pissed either. I don't know.
I'm not going to make any promises here.
It is Friday night.
So we are recording a little bit later this week for a reason as well. For tonight's topic, we've been avoiding this one for a while. We felt that it's been over pushed through the media and through other channels, but we decided with recent events that we're going to do this, and it's around the COVID lockdowns and the vaccinations and all the talking points around there. So the reason we've held off till tonight is to just have a look at and keep an eye on what's unfolding down in Melbourne at the moment with the riots down there. We didn't want to record too early and miss out on an opportunity or have some late information. So, but boys, for the week, how did we think the response from last week? Pretty good.
Pretty good from what I've heard, I think.
You think?
Yeah, I've heard only good things. It's actually our most watched video since the first video.
Yeah, nice.
So that's got to be telling us something, isn't it? That we're doing a little bit better, or
Absolutely.
It was definitely
more fun.
It was definitely a bit of fun.
Yeah. And thank you to you guys for the
fun too.
support as well. We're starting to put in a lot more work, or being pushed to put in a lot more work because we've got more support and more viewers there. So thank you. We enjoy doing the podcast, but we wouldn't be doing it without you guys getting involved as well. So
Yeah, 100%.
saying that, let's dive straight in. Dave, what's unfolded this week, mate?
Well, there was the start of the week, the CMFEU, the protests out the front of that, and that got a bit chaotic. And then we go into a couple of days the freeway, holding up on the freeway, and then again going to the Shrine of Remembrance, the War Memorial in Melbourne. And,
I think that definitely put a lot of noses out of joint, and rightfully so, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't, again, like if we're gonna start with that, it's just one of those places you don't want to see politicized. It's
No.
Politicizing the military and again those types of memorials and shrine are. I think the CEO of the place, or the fellow who runs it, said it's a place for quiet reflection, and people to pay their respects in their own way. But in my opinion, politicizing the army or the military or even the police force, it's very dangerous. I mean, these people, represent the whole country, and so yeah, I don't like politicizing those particular places.
What annoys me with that
Institutions.
as well is not only the desecration of such a sacred site, but the fact that these people are putting words in the mouths of the Anzacs and those veterans by pushing their agenda and saying that the Anzacs would have supported that or fought for that, when that's bullshit. If you've got your agenda and you're feel strongly enough about it to protest, not in the way that they have been, but keep other people out of it in that regard. Using them as a I suppose staple for your bullshit arguments. It annoys me. I'm trying to keep it without swearing. But
They did say that there was no damage done that couldn't be cleaned up the next day. There was just so anybody listening knows, like, they didn't destroy the place. They just stayed heavily disrespectful. The fellas there were upset. They said that there was piss on the walls, beer cans, that type of stuff all around the place. But just even if that stuff hadn't happened, which is a big part of why a lot of people are upset. Again, having those types of scenes with the police there is just, It's not the right place to politicize things, and they could have had it across the road or anywhere really. And I'm not against protesting, but with flares and the way they handle themselves, I think didn't do themselves any favors.
Now, I suppose one of the things that's been brought up about the protesters is the fact that, and the union, the CFMEU, have been quite clear with this, is the people that were protesting that aren't actual tradesmen or aren't in the union and aren't involved in the initial events that kicked all this off.
Yeah, rings of people basically just saying, "Go get your high vis; they won't know any different."
I've seen that. All that sort of stuff. Scary, isn't it, that they would do that? They're Freedom Rally people. They were there last year. They were here. They'd been here. Avi, Yemeni. There's public figures there from that are not CMFEU people. And look, I don't know if there were neo-Nazis there. There might have been. There was definitely far-right organisers, and even the crazy Bunnings Karen lady was there. So it's not just tradies. And here's the thing. Look,
imagine having that title, the crazy Bunnings Karen lady.
Man, the right wing now are just a mix of every single. Look, I don't want to make it too political too, because I also want to. I want this episode to be a little bit different. But the CMFEU, there are 144,000 people. Unions are democratic organisations that do good, and I think the wrong way to go about it is to pal up with these people, get in front of the office. And did you see like pelting beer and getting drunk, and just that's not how protests are done, and that's not how unions make decisions. They're not going to give up to a mob out the front of a fucking building.
No one's going to.
They're fighting back. Like the leader of the Victorian branch, John Secca, he was like, they're not union members. There might have been a couple in there. He called them the scum of the earth. And do you want me to read their statement? It's pretty quick.
Yeah.
All right. So the CMFEU condemns in the strongest possible terms the attack on the CMFEU Victorian branch office and the mindless acts of violence perpetrated by the members of the mob. This crowd was heavily infiltrated by neo-Nazis and other right-wing extremist groups. This is official, all right? It is clear that a minority of those who participated were actual union members. We thank the officials, delegates and rank-and-file members of the union who came to protect their office and their officials, and note that a number of people received minor injuries from acts of violence, including throwing bottles. I'll get into throwing piss at reporters and attacking reporters as well. A lot of this, we can call these the pissy protests. But anyway, we also thank officials and members of other construction unions and other trade unions that stood in solidarity with us. The union will continue to defend its members' rights to work safely across Australia. We will not be intimidated from doing our job. These actions are not the actions of people who care about their workmates and the construction industry. They are actions of extremists and of people manipulated by extremists. Full stop. So,
and that's
position.
I like the fact that they've used that word in particular, extremist.
And people manipulated by extremists.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
I mean, we've spoken about it before about, extremism, and in the previous episode with Afghanistan, and I suppose with the internet, the way it is now, we're exposed to more of it on a
100%.
Global scale, and this just goes to show it's not just religious extremism to that extent. It is all through it. We are going to do an episode later on extremism. I feel pretty strongly about that in particular. So yeah, I'm glad that they called it out for what it is. It's just a minority that's of extremists that have grouped together and not for any benefit whatsoever.
With what you're saying too, like obviously we are a lot more exposed in this day and age to a lot of those things, which is good and bad, I think. Obviously, any person with a phone can pull it out and record things and post it on the internet. So everybody has that platform now.
That's been to our detriment sometimes too.
Exactly, and that's what I mean. It's good and it's bad because obviously it gives us the opportunity because media can portray things differently to what really happened and stuff like that. So we can obviously then go, well, hang on a minute, that's not really what happened. Like, look at this video, or so there is options where it's it can be good, but it can also be bad too, because it gives a lot of people a platform that probably just shouldn't have one. So it's yeah.
I agree. We've all this access to the information, but I think what we have to look into now, because of this influx of it, like we are in the age of information. Because of this, I think we need in our schools at a much younger age teach people how to decipher what is a reliable source,
100%.
What is bias, what is an opinion piece, what is fact, what is a scientific peer reviewed studies, what's the importance of that, the scientific method. I think we need to critically think about what you're watching and how you should question it completely, but in the right way. Like people now, and like you were saying before, it's at their fingertips. They might get it through social media, or any other kind of app or any other platform. But what these platforms do is that, and I think I probably harped on this before, is if you're watching something, they're going to recommend to you, because they want to get the most views out of you, what you like. So if you go looking into one thing, they're going to recommend like-minded things. And you're all of a sudden going to be surrounded with things that are just going to confirm your bias.
100%.
And you're in that world now. And then when you go into the real world, because most people aren't bed into that stuff. Most people just want to fucking go to work. They just want to feed their kids. They want to have their hobbies, and they want to live and be happy and be educated and healthy, and that's all people want. They don't. But I don't know. I think we'd be a lot better off if we improved our education system, and that's what I think it needs to start.
Absolutely. There's so many aspects to that as well.
Yeah,
but like you were saying about the classes, I mean, there's already the platform there in the form of social studies being a subject in school. I wonder if that curriculum has been updated to incorporate modern day social media into that. That'd be, if anybody that watches is in the teaching industry or associated with that, we'd love to hear about those sorts of things, whether the curriculums have been updated. I mean, it's been over 10 years now since Dave and I left school. And Reese even longer because he's an old motherfucker. But
boomers, we're not boomers, but we might be that mentality, just sitting here go, this should happen, and there might be like some 12-year-olds like, that's happening.
Yeah, that's right.
So just let us know, because I do have a lot of faith in the youth. I think the youth, as far as I can see them, I think they're a lot less violent than we are. I think they're a lot less. I think they're smarter and they're funnier in their own little way, but they've got their own issues too. But I have high hopes for the youth.
Absolutely.
I feel like that's also too because of the same thing. Is like there's so many people watching the youth now. Like, when we're at school, you could go out the back and flog the fuck out of someone, and it's a chance that only the people that are going to be there that see it that know what happened. Whereas now, how many videos do you see on the internet of fights with people just recording, not intervening, not stopping when things probably go too far or whatever? Everyone's just recording those things. So there's eyes on everyone. It's a lot harder, I think, now for people to get away with some things, in comparison. So people are probably a lot more reserved and, a bit more alert to their surroundings when they do go to do, things that they can be caught for, I guess.
And that's interesting that you say that, man, because
that's right.
With the riots, I mean, most people have seen the funny compilation video, of the guy standing out the front of the union office saying, we don't want to put these chemicals in our body, and then it, snapped that old video under the bridge, man. But
not all them look at, because I have to be how we lose them is by saying they're all doing that.
And that's right, yeah. But it's interesting what Reese was saying about being aware of your surroundings and those sorts of things. I mean, one example of that was the insurrection at the Capitol, in America. Themselves. Absolutely. By videoing themselves and feeling they were you know, uploading it to a platform, and you know they'd be seen as heroes, and next minute that's evidence against them. So
Next minute.
yeah,
Same thing too when they had the lockdown protests in Sydney and that a couple of months ago, and all, you know, there was all the footage, the photo of that bloke that was punching the horse.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw that. You know, and everyone was blowing up saying what a scumbag and a piece of shit he is, and you know, if that was the case, then rightfully so. But you know, once people delved into it and found actual footage, like he didn't even punch the horse. He kind of literally put his arm up to guard himself, like, and
it's like he braced the horse. I think more to not have to engage the horse. That's what you do. Like,
camera angles are a beautiful thing, aren't they?
Yeah, but you know that's the same thing with how perception. You know?
Yeah, it's the same. Joe Rogan and ivermectin. Everyone's like, "Oh, Joe Rogan's taking horse pace," but in fact, he took. And I don't think ivermectin works. The people who make ivermectin say that it's not made for that. Like, and there was one study that they were all touting, and even that got rejected and revoked. But Joe Rogan did get pharmaceutical grade ivermectin from a doctor. So again, by just making fun of him and not having all the memes, we've now allowed ourselves to. And those people to be like, look, they're just lying about Joe Rogan, you know? Even if if it wasn't what made him better, we still allowed us... With these people, you only have to give them a tiny little inch, and they will create a conspiracy around this whole thing.
That's, you know, the ivermectin, that was one of the claims from the protesters, wasn't it, to the union? That they wanted ivermectin...
They're going to take it as a prophylactic. They're going to take it every 2 weeks. And the amount that they would need to take would be like, it's incredible.
But that just goes to show that, like, the misinformation, and it's spreading, and it's gotten to the point where, instead of taking a vaccine, which has been like a contentious issue for a lot of people, but it has also been one of the most scrutinised vaccines that we have ever had because of it. They're willing to take a drug that's not even intended for human use instead of, you know, going down the path of having a vaccine which has been, you know, developed specifically for this disease. I mean, some of the worries about the vaccines early on might have been justified because, you know, it was still in its early phases. But I'll read this. This is some stats about the vaccine in particular. Of the 22.8 million doses of COVID vaccines given so far in Australia, 9 people have died. 8 were from thrombosis. Of those 9 people, all of them were above the age of 65 with prior health conditions. So that's about a 1 in 2.9 million chance of dying from the vaccine. I'm not a mathematician by any sense, but that's pretty fucking good statistics. Like, you've got a pretty good chance of not dying.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's talking points from...
More than pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, there's talking point. Man, everybody is different. We all know that.
You can make any number. You can make any number seem scary. How about that 6
100%.
billion jabs have been given? What's the death rate? You know, what's the death rate? I'll tell you, there's nearly 6 million people dead from COVID-19. There's not 6 million people dead from the COVID-19 vaccine, and that's from 219 million cases versus 6 billion doses.
Yep.
So it's just not comparable.
No,
and there's no.
I think the biggest thing,
way forward.
I guess, like, obviously, it is probably scary to a lot of people because, you know, I mean, elderly people were probably around for, you know, vaccines when they, you know, long before we were born. I think the scary thing for a lot of people is the fact that it is so new, so nobody knows long-term effects, and obviously we're not going to for a good amount of time. But, you know, like, I was fully vaccinated as a child. you know, and vaccinations have done a lot of good things in the world, and you know, I guess vaccinations for things that we know about that have worked and stuff because they've been around for so long. It's a lot, you know, puts the mind at ease for most people knowing that, oh well, this has been around for a long time and it's proven that it's worked, and etc. etc. Whereas I guess a lot of people are probably standoffish because, you know, this is so new. And I think also the fact that there's multiple options for it as well probably confuses people. And I know for myself, like, I've been umming and ahhing about which one to get because I'm just sort of like, you know, what's the difference? What should I get? What's best for me? And you know, it is, I guess I can understand, like, I can justify the fear from people about doing something that we know, probably as a whole, a lot of people don't know a great deal about, and I'm one of them. I'm really out of the loop with the whole situation because I really haven't followed it. I haven't looked at statistics.
But
And
saying that, like with, you know, how you were saying different options with any drug or any vaccination, there is options. You think if you go to the pharmacy to get a prescription, right, and they say, do you want the generic brand?
Yeah, 100%.
90% of the time you go, yeah, because you've got no fucking idea.
Cheaper.
Yeah, and it's
We're unable to have a generic brand right now.
That's
why.
That's right.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, I don't doubt that there is, you know, early on there was the competition about who developed it first. Obviously,
Operation Warp Speed, Donald Trump, everybody.
But from a company
vaccine,
from
that shit.
company basis, you're gonna promote that. Oh yeah, we were the first to come up with this vaccine, aren't you?
Yeah.
Like,
but it's look. Here's the thing, everybody. We are not, you know, we're not doctors.
we're three guys sitting in rooms drinking piss, talking shit. Yeah.
They're three very good-looking guys, but we're not doctors. We're not doctors. We're Dr. Feelgood.
I think it.
Consult your doctor. Ask them, is it safe for me to get a vaccine?
Yeah.
And then and if they say, yeah, let me check. Yeah, well, yada yada. And then ask them, well, what one would you recommend me take? And then if that's the case, if that's the way you want to go, if you want just that extra bit of a check, go do that.
I think the biggest thing too also is availability. Like, I mean, originally I was looking to getting Pfizer, but it's just been impossible for me to find. Like, it
was bungled.
You know,
Pfizer. Yeah. Because they have what they did was they only have a certain amount. Okay, so when and they can give people their first jabs, but they have to have their second jabs in a certain amount of time. So they actually, if you give someone a first jab, that means you have to get a second jab ready for them and hold it. You know, and we were, you don't want to politicize it, but maybe the rollout was a bit bungled. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe this. I guess we kind of just have to roll with whatever we have at the moment. AstraZeneca had a bit of a scare before, even Denmark banned it because of the possibilities and the possibilities that came out with some studies. But it ends up all that's overturned now, and it is fine to take AstraZeneca. So if you can get AstraZeneca,
I'm booked in next Wednesday to get AstraZeneca. So
yeah,
I'll let you know.
I just booked in on the app, and I got me fucking dates, and that was it.
So I got
me first job, and then got me second date, and that's it.
Yeah. I get me second Pfizer jab this Thursday coming, and
on Tuesday,
I think if anything, the only side effects I've had is I'm fucking uglier. So
apparently the second Pfizer is the one that gets you.
Oh, look, it probably will. But once again, everybody's different. Like, I've heard people say, with the Astra, like, oh yeah, I was knocked for days, and then another person will say, oh, it was like a hangover. I was good in a few hours, you know.
And then some people, it's nothing. But just like any vaccine, there's something there.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's interesting how we're looking at this vaccine because it's so politicized, and we're in the pandemic. We're focusing on everything. Whereas before in 2016, we had a no jab, no pay policy that was introduced, mandating welfare payments depending on children's vaccination status, and you weren't. There are mandates for childcare, for all that.
100%.
So we've had it before in 2019. Funnily enough, so this would be stats right before coronavirus. We had 85% of the country were in favour of mandatory vaccination policy, and I think it was only 9% disagreed. And then everyone.
We're a lot different now.
Well, that's because it's part like it's part of our politics. You know what I mean? It's part of American politics, which is seeping in. And again, like you said, it's part all those different news organizations come together, and some of them are Murdoch, but the more extreme ones are coming from America and Americanized nationalist style Australian independent media as well. But again, it's all because it's politicized. When Trump, you could see it in America when Trump was president, they were all ready for the Trump vaccine, the miracle vaccine. They were all ready for it. And when Biden took over and he got to take the rollout, they're all like, I'm not touching that shit. I'm not touching that fucking Joe Biden dementia fucking. You're not giving me any of that a shot of whatever the hell's keeping Joe Biden alive. Although,
I mean, we can have a laugh, but that's
we've got a conservative government right now, and we can't even get people to do it.
Yeah.
You know, we used to.
Saying that,
or Hawk or something where people can just get around and be like, you know what, let's just take it this centrist fucking, let's be a bit unified here. Like
so we're up to 50%. 50% of population over 16 has had their second dose.
Yeah.
So we are making some headway. Yeah. I mean, what did they say? 70% and the country opens back up.
Yeah.
That's what you can't.
Well, they reckon at the 18th of October or something, they're expecting to have.
Well, at this
11th of October or something.
At this rate, there's over 80% of the population that's had their first dose. As I said, just over 50% have had the second dose. So, by the time, you know, those people that have had their first go in for their second, it's not going to be long before, you know, we're open.
And what is it? It's like 8 to 12 weeks, right? For your first or second dose or something?
3. So I had which one you take and the availability as well, I think.
Yeah. So I had my
it loses effectiveness if you bring it too close together, right?
Yeah. And too far apart.
Yeah.
So I had my first shot at the start of the month, I think the 7th. And like I said, we're booked in for the 30th, so it's been been a pretty quick transition.
Like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's like, I want to talk to as well, like there's people out there, like with friends and family that we love that will be of all political persuasions and all vaccine hesitant and anti-vax or however you'd like to be addressed. Like, but we're not. There's no, you know what I mean. We have to figure out a way, I think, to bring these people over. You know,
I think it just comes down to education, really.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's so much, like you were saying, like about, you know, understanding what's legitimate and what's not, and being told how to, you know, pick up and what's a proper, what's the word I'm looking for? You know, like a legit
source.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think there's just so much question because there's so much, like you said, going down that rabbit hole of, you know, once you start on one thing, it's, you know, recommends you these other things. And I think once you start delving into that rabbit hole, whichever way you go, that's, you know, obviously going to influence you, like you said. So I think the education on and proper statistics and everything like that is, you know, obviously going to help a lot of people feel a little more at ease with doing it, you know, if they are questioning it.
Well, as time goes on as well. I mean, I think it was Dave mentioned before about, you know, people not sure about, of the long-term effects. You know, as time goes on, if we get to that 70%, you know, and there hasn't been adverse effects and you know, the country's open back up, that's going to make these people that are skeptical sort of change their mind, maybe.
Well, we got to show them the actual findings of that. Like, for instance, COVID, if that's what you're worried about, COVID-19 not only can kill you at an extremely high rate, it will also affect you in the long. It can affect you, I should say.
So long COVID.
And we know,
yes.
We know that it can have that it can damage your body for the rest of your life, and there are people that survive from COVID that will always be affected by COVID also.
Well,
and we don't know what mutation or variant can happen if we let it go rampant also.
So a good friend of mine, I won't mention his name because of his job, but he works in a hospital, and I wasn't aware of long COVID prior to to talking to him about it, and he told me about some of the effects of long COVID and the damage that it has done to the organs, especially with the Delta strain. Prior to the Delta strain, I suppose young people weren't too worried. It was seen as, it would only harm or kill the older people, and that was just, I think, the public perception.
I'm guilty of that.
Yeah, well,
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't, because, I've had no real, need or want to be vaccinated, or really to even care about the virus whatsoever. I guess it probably helps because my life hasn't dramatically changed. I've been fortunate enough that I've still been able to go to work, and for a long period of time here in Newcastle, when Victoria and other places in Australia were being locked down, we didn't have cases, and we could literally go about our life as per normal for a majority of the time, while the rest of the country was probably in a lot worse off position. So to me, I was kind of like, well, it doesn't even seem dangerous to me. I don't really care. My life hasn't changed. It hasn't affected me. So why would I go and look into that sort of thing? I guess now, when we've been locked down for nearly 2 months now. Obviously, once again, I'm still lucky because I can still go to work every day, but there's a lot of people that have not been able to work, and I guess for me, I personally don't know anyone that's actually had it yet. I can't say that I know anyone that's actually had the virus. So I don't know how it's affected people through the sickness of it.
And I suppose we've been very lucky in that aspect, being in these regional areas and outside the major hubs. But
we're geographically well suited to fight COVID in Australia, where our land is by sea. Like it really is. But I think another thing that the problem, and Reese was touching on it then, like I didn't know the issue completely. I thought, like, well, at least in my part, everything's gone well, and it doesn't seem like there's a lot of people dying from it. But there's 1,200 people who've died so far around that. So that's more than we've lost in Vietnam and Korea combined in wars.
I guess I got stuck in the statistic of like 1,200 people out of 20 something million in Australia. Is like, oh, that's nothing.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Versus people that get it. But again, it's like when you're in that, it means something to the people who get it, and then the families and all. Like, but what I have, and I think is a big thing, apart from the education about how people are going to decipher it, the big problem is our leaders. Our leaders have failed to unite the country, which is the first issue about being a leader. Is you unite your team, you bring people together. But the divisiveness in our politics has been horrible, and I don't see any other opposition parties that are stepping up and trying to bring everyone together either. We'd know it because they'd have tremendous support if that was the case.
Maybe we could start the Dave Giles Republican Party.
We can't. I'd be a president because I wasn't born here. So I couldn't even be the president of my own party, which I'd still fight for a republic, even though it meant that I could be prime minister. Julia Gillard was from Wales. Tony Abbott's from England. You know what I mean? Like, I could be prime minister, but Republican Australia Part 2, that's coming up.
Don't get him started. Don't get him started,
Dave.
But the lack of leadership, and this should have been something that united everybody together. Just like when we like to think about the Anzacs, not in a political way, not in a left and a right way. That's a time when we have to come together and show respect and think about the whole country. We're all Australians, and when we celebrate Anzacs, and when we're conscripted back then, we were all Australians. It was numbers based. Like there was. Things like this with health and safety should be where we come together and protect our most vulnerable, and we unite and not politicize it. So the virus is not left or right. It's not going to fucking...
No.
Yeah, it doesn't care what your political stance is.
Care or the mullah, you know what I mean? It doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting point that you touched on with, protecting your most vulnerable, and that was a pretty heavy talking point early on with coronavirus about the disregard for the elderly.
A lot of people are like, well, I'm not You know what I mean?
And that's what I mean. That's sickening to me. As Australians, you know, we pride ourselves on helping our mates, and you know, doing the right thing. So to then have that outlook on our elderly is pretty piss poor. And I suppose it's, you know, they use the term un-Australian, but it's showing again in the form of these riots to me. You know, it's the same attitude and the same disregard for, you know, your fellow Australians and everybody in your community. And it was interesting to see hear some of the interviews with the veterans when they mentioned the support that has been lost for these protesters simply by what they've done at the shrine. So, yeah, what's your thoughts?
Vaccination among the elderly is at its high is one of the highest communities. So
Yeah.
they're doing their part too.
Yep.
But there are also elderly people that can't get vaccinated for pre-existing.
What's your thoughts then on the mandates? You mentioned it slightly before about, you know, pre-COVID with those mandates. As far as companies forcing the vaccine on, or forcing their employees to have the vaccine to retain their jobs, what's your thoughts on that?
Who wants to go first? This is one of the elephants in the room. This is one of the hot topics. I'll go first if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, look, it's a soft mandate. It's not a general mandate. You don't have to get the vaccine. You have a choice to have the vaccine or not. There are only certain industries that are making these vaccines, whether you have to have a booking for a vaccine or your first shot or your second by a certain amount. There are certain industries that have been doing it. This is to help people. I am pro vaccination mandates for these industries that a lot of transmission has come from, and that spreads into the wider community. I'm for mandates as a principle, like I'm for not letting every kid bring peanuts to daycare and their lunch.
Yep.
Not because I'm telling you that you can't have peanuts in your diet and you're telling you what should be put in your children's body. You can do that at home. But because of what might happen to a small amount of kids at our daycare and the horrible things that can happen from stuff like that, we're going to just ban that. We're going to ban certain things from a lot of areas. We're going to tell you can't smoke your cigarette in the car with a kid or with someone else in the car that doesn't want it. You know, there's all these rules, but they're not telling you can't smoke.
Yeah.
So, like, your freedom's not been taken away from you. You say you have your choice, but you do not have when that choice hurts somebody else or has the potential for someone to infect someone and bring it home to someone. So you might infect someone that's in great nick, but they have someone they're taking care of at home, and you don't know who it's going to affect down the line. Look, I wish that we didn't need mandates. I wish that we just all got together and said this is the best thing for the country, and let's fucking get a jab for your neighbour or whoever.
I guess it's a bigger picture than just me. That's what people probably need to realise. And I'm guilty of it. I guess I hadn't really thought about it like that either. So, you know, it is a bit of an eye opener when you do think about it. And I guess, you know, everybody kind of gets into that mode sometimes of putting themselves first. But you're right. Look, I think my stance on it, like, if you don't want to get vaccinated, I mean, don't get vaccinated. That's your choice. Like, I don't believe you should be forced to have something that you don't want to do. But that's no different to any business saying, well, if you're not vaccinated, we don't want to employ you or whatever. It's the same choice, really. Like, when you look at it, it's like, okay, well, you have the choice not to be vaccinated, but we also have the choice to not have unvaccinated people here that work for us.
Absolutely.
You know, as a whole
risk, minimize risk in
and
the
that's
workplace.
that's right, and that's looking at not just what the business wants. That's looking after everyone, employees, customers, and people that they interact with. So, it's them saying that they should have a choice for vaccination is no different, really. It's the same thing. It's just, how you look at it, I suppose.
And you touched on it there. Like I'm definitely pro-vaccine. And I think every business has the right to look out for the welfare of their workers for multiple reasons. And stepping away from the human aspect of it, it's that risk that you mentioned just before. If you've got a workforce that's constantly getting sick, you're going to want to do something about that, aren't you? Because it's cost.
Yeah, that's right.
Productivity and all those aspects come into it. So if you're a company that is wanting, the best workforce that you can put together, and you're wanting to have people reliable and showing up and healthy more so than anything, you've got every right to say, righto, well, part of that is having this vaccine, which has been pushed or has been shown to be a benefit.
I mean, realistically, how many places have you worked that offer a flu shot every year?
Every single one.
Yeah.
And once again, it's for that reason. It reduces that downtime, that risk. And,
And I hate, you've got this, you've got the leader of the CMFEU, and you've got even Bill Shorten, who's the former leader of a union as well, and they're coming out calling these people man babies, and I detest that. Because babies, if you're going to look at who gets vaccinated and who has vaccination mandates, and these motherfuckers get jabbed. These are fucking Chuck Wepner these are Chuck Wepner in a fucking Muhammad Ali fight. They're getting pieced. 2 months you get. I'm gonna mispronounce this shit like a maniac, right? After 2 months they get diphtheria, tetanus, pertussis, hip hepatitis, trust me, right? Pneumococcal rotavirus. 4 months, then they got the same fucking thing again. Repeat, I'm guessing 6 months. Only 2 of them now. 12 months, measles, mumps, rubella. You think of what we've been able to, the children, the agony and the death we've been able to eliminate from our society through this stuff. Then you're at 12 months, 18 months, and that's only up to, you know what I mean? We're saying these people are acting like babies. No, babies are acting like lions out here. These babies are fucking are front. And our nurses, all these, they're not the only industry that's mandating this. There are manufacturers and service-based workers all around the world that, in order to travel interstate, they have had to prove these things for quite a while now. Get over yourself or make your choice, but don't, as a community, what we're trying to do, us three are probably going to be fine if we didn't get vaccinated in it, you know what I mean, until the mutations happen down the line and we're old and we do have something wrong with us. But there's the people that we care about, and that's that are vulnerable, and your neighbour, and those that might not even disclose what's fucking wrong with them. So just
it's funny too.
Someone else.
Not funny, but I did book in to get my first one, and then literally my next shift at work in our startup, they told us that they're doing vaccinations on site now. They started on what day is it today? They started on Thursday, and also like you were saying, when they're looking after their workforce and stuff like that. Starting Monday, we're going to have rapid antigen testing on site. We get a daily update every single shift with cases for the day, the LGAs they're from, how many people are in hospital, how many people are in the community. They're trying to update us.
They're keeping you informed.
Yeah, 100%.
And we're working safely. We've been working safely. You know what I mean? A lot of businesses have done a lot of things so that they can stay open, and they've made a lot of sacrifices and changed the way they do things.
Yeah,
but you're absolutely right.
They've taken on, companies have come out as leaders in the prevention and the reduction of these rates and stuff as well. So that's good to see.
Not getting money makes people do things,
well, money's...
realistically, at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. And I guess on a completely another flip of the entire lockdown and the coronavirus situation is, I guess the shitty thing is that big business has probably thrived throughout this entire pandemic. And I do feel sorry for a lot of smaller businesses and sole traders and stuff like that who have probably not done so great and who have lost a lot. And it's tough. Where do you draw the line? Because obviously we don't really have much of a say in that.
Kept going by subsidies, right? We've
To a point, yeah.
Yeah. And another thing, like Australian manufacturers have actually done quite well during this because of the lack of being able to import. Now then comes the problem of importing raw materials. So if you're truly buying from an Australia company, you'd be getting your steel, say, from Wollongong and Newcastle instead of overseas. But the manufacturing industry has ups and downs from this too. All industries, the likes of online shops and those ahead of the curve technologies, they're going to benefit from this too. But at the same time, shops are, all these places are getting record sales as well, because people are still getting food. They're going out shopping. I'm telling you now, bikes are gone up in sales. Exercise gear.
I've been looking at a bike this week, literally.
Squat racks. You try and fucking. I got lucky the last time, but you can't trust gyms. Everyone's getting their own home gym, or they're learning to try and work out outside the box. It's transformed our society a bit, that's for sure. But look,
I guess to a point, it's probably in a way been a good thing, because it has. I mean, obviously, the only freedom that some people have had is their daily exercise. So in a way, it's probably made a lot of people actually get off their ass and do a bit.
Challenged people,
burglaries, right?
Yeah, it's challenged people to change their lifestyles, hasn't it? Like, or better themselves in that aspect.
Well, hopefully we can get to the stage where we can get this and our hospital service to the stage where they can handle this. We can lift restrictions. We can get back to what is normal. Like, we're always going to progress as a world and a fucking species. Everything's gonna change.
There's definitely been a culture shift for sure.
Yes, that's for sure. Yeah.
I mean, we want it to end so that we can all get into a studio and do a live show, don't we? But
everyone wants to see their family and friends and hang out and go fucking all around this beautiful country and go visit people all around the world. And people want to fucking, they want to go to Amsterdam. They want to go to Russia and China and fucking.
It's funny you mentioned Amsterdam first. I think we know why.
No bias there.
No. I had a very big Batman-loving country, the Dutch. No, but we want to go. No one wants this. This is not a left or right wing ideology. This is us getting better at dealing with this stuff. And hopefully, if something worse comes along, hopefully we'll be better prepared for it. Hopefully we'll be ready and we'll have come so far in this, in our technology and even in our kind of like a drill. You know what I mean? When something comes with a higher mortality rate, we'll be able to okay, everybody, we've been through this before. We know how to reduce social fucking interaction, and we can still run as a country, and we know how to safely do construction. We know how to safely operate a retail shop. Like, we know not to worry about toilet paper.
Man,
wasn't that a fucking saga?
I remember one of my mates at work's going I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to buy any toilet paper. I'm just going to shower the shit off me. And I was like, what is happening? Like, is that where we're changing? Is that where society's
What I don't get is why toilet paper?
I know. There was so many
chronic diarrhea from it. Do you?
Yeah.
Like,
at the end of the world, everyone wants a clean arse. You know what I mean?
True.
But there are many ways of getting that said clean arse. Today.
But of all things, like, there could have been been fucking baked beans, but it was toilet paper.
I just don't understand.
To the point where there was fights in aisles at supermarkets.
It was so good. Like I know it's terrible. It's bad, but it also gives you that.
We've got to laugh about it though, man, because if we've been through. It's been a long run.
First started there's going to be a toilet paper shortage. Imagine being that person. And
I have a feeling that it was.
The first guy who made a book off of it. He's like, he's that guy who bought them all. He's seen all those fucking dickheads at the start that had with a giant trolley. Is like, they ain't put a fucking ban on it yet, and I'm gonna be in that car park, and all of a sudden no one's gonna hate me anymore because I'm gonna be the purveyor of clean arse. That's what it is. I'm the arse clean salesman.
Yeah,
and he made a lot of money. But, mate, that's right. But no, I think in some ways we'll benefit.
Well,
really,
we've
got to get
progressed.
These vaccination rates. People can get back to school and back to work and get back to social
That's a whole other thing
interaction.
too, I guess. Like the impact on like childhood education that's been in for the last 2 years.
But saying that, it's tested boundaries and challenges, and setting up what we were talking about with the technology.
It's probably more life experience education than
and
to an extent.
the exposure with their friends and stuff. I mean, here where I am, we opened up. We've been opened up for about a week, I think, out of lockdown, and it was a day. So we opened up on the Thursday. There was one day left of school before the school holidays, and it was the first time I think I've heard kids going, "No, I really want to go to school." Even, like on the last day, Usually people are dodging going the last day because it's just one more, but they just wanted that one day with their friends, to interact and that freedom. So,
but through the centuries and the decades and all, we have time where kids were during the war and where kids and during times of war, like we're very lucky people. We're in a very peaceful part of the world where we can put these things into place and have a peaceful society. There are war-torn countries right now that they're not even thinking about having school running right now because of bombs. They're not even, you know what I mean, or because of gangs. They're not even thinking about fucking being able to open up a business, or it's just not. It's not day to day for some people. So we're lucky we're able to. It's not that bad, you know what I mean. Like it's boring. It's tedious and boring, and it requires thinking a lot because again, our government has been terrible with this rollout, and they've been terrible at educating people and at the roadmap to recovery, and they've been terrible at letting people know when is the end in sight, or what is the destination, and why are we asking you these things. There's been no unity. I hate to harp on about that, but during times like this, it's very important.
You need those people to step up, and I think the last time we saw this was the last big fire season. When the whole East Coast was on fire, and where was our leadership? There was none. They were overseas at some point. And the reaction.
Habit now.
Yeah, and that's I mean, I feel very strongly about that for a few reasons, but
understandable.
Yeah.
That should be it. That could be its own fucking episode.
It probably will be.
Pick your brain there, mate.
Yeah, it probably will be because, well, being on the fire ground and seeing those effects. I mean, I'm no fan of Tony Abbott whatsoever.
Well, he showed great leadership during that when he wasn't Prime Minister as well.
Well, he was, he's in the RFS and he was out there on the end of a hose, Now, without making it political, you got our leaders that might not be capable of getting on a truck and going and grabbing a hose, but there is so many other things that could have been done. And same in this aspect. There is so many things that could be done, whether it's information. Yeah, whether it's information that's going, it's just showing your face in the community or being there and answering questions and being accountable for mistakes.
Well, you be with the community during it as well.
That's it.
Being with your people when they're going through something is very powerful.
Yep.
You don't just show up when the debris has been swept away and you come off your holiday. And I was going to mention Tony Abbott before you did, because I'm not a fan of Tony Abbott on a policy perspective at all. But you have to give him his credit. And as a Republican, he's a fucking monarchist, like to the max. Like he was in the 90s, he was the main monarchist bull for that. But he was here. Well, he didn't even. He shied away from the cameras. He said today is the day when, as Australians, we've got to get together. Now you said you didn't want to politicize it, but it's been politicized.
It has.
You're trying to unpoliticize it. What you're trying to do is to say we need more funding. It doesn't. We're not saying we need more Labour funding. We're not saying we need more Liberals, national funded. Like, we need funding. We need people to listen to the experts in this situation. And it's not about how much it costs.
And
how
like
much
it,
it should cost. It's about it does cost.
like you just touched on it there with listening to the experts, and the whole misconception around the vaccines with this is, the medical experts at one point with AstraZeneca were saying, no, if you're under 50, I think it was, don't have it. But the government was saying, or the politicians were saying, yes, have it. I think that has added to the fear or the questions around this whole vaccine and the COVID scenario is, we've seen it in America early on with Trump that the medical experts haven't been listened to correctly, or their information hasn't been pushed through more than what the politicians have. And that's been interesting. Because in any other period of time, I think we would listen to the experts in that position, rather than a political standpoint.
If there's something wrong with you, you go to an emergency room and you don't question them. Then we don't, when our car is broken down and we're on the side of the road, you know what I mean. You don't pray, you get an expert. We have award rates here to make sure people are experts in welding. You know what I mean? Like it's very important in our society. And I grew up in a country which admittedly is completely different now. And even was better when I grew up in it. But it was very Catholic. And I grew up in a Catholic part of Ireland. I grew up Catholic, and I grew up.
Fuck, are you from Ireland?
I hail from there.
Really?
Just like Ned Kelly, I got the little lilt from one of those Australians. One of those guys.
Right.
But,
I didn't even know that about you, Dave.
Yeah. It's one of those things. Those are my beautiful blue eyes.
I suppose that's why you're such a fan of Conor McGregor too, isn't it?
There's a sneaky hidden reason why I appreciate Conor.
It's certainly not his pitching ability.
Here, have you seen him? Did you see him shoot that basketball first shot at Madison Square Garden from the 3-point line?
I'm not talking about that. I'm
UFC 205. Well, then
just talking about the first pitch.
I think he did well for a one-legged pitcher. I think he did okay for a one-legged pitcher.
Oh, I should have put money on that.
Actually, he is the highest-paid sportsman by Forbes, so he's technically the highest-paid baseball player, and basketball player, and football player, and fighter, all mashed together.
Listen to it.
I know, hey.
Highest-paid athlete. So maybe he's not great at one-legged ball throwing. Maybe don't. Maybe that's not his specialty. But anyway, what were we saying? Anyway, a country where up until the 90s, divorce was not allowed and Playboy was against the law. Abortion has only been made legal in Ireland in the last, I think it was 2016, 17 or something like that. A place where your spirituality and an illogical force had a role of power and had credence, and I loved Australia for the fact that they did. It seemed a little bit more logical the way government was set out there, and it was less religious and all. There was none of that type of shit. But this, I've always been, and then I became a bit of an atheist, and that's where I found love of logic and that kind of, and what would you say, like philosophy and way and politics, okay, and democracy. That took over for me. And now to see that it's coming back in this weird, illogical, anti-democratic, the way society's going now, I think that my anti-theism now, I think ideology is just as bad as religion now. Whereas I think the anti-religious people of the Dawkins and the Hitchens and the Krauss and the Sam Harris and all those kind of guys, you have to be post that now, because you can't blame extremism on religion anymore. Or maybe I was wrong.
And so this is extremism.
Ideology is dangerous.
I think the because of the events of Afghanistan and terrorism that we were put through, and extremism was related to that with religion and that in that regard. It
changed the world.
Well, yeah, but extremism is in any form of things. You know, I mean, Reese, you look at the straight edge movement, you know, in punk and hardcore and those alternative scenes. You know, there was whole groups of straight edge gangs, so to speak.
Militant.
Yeah, militant straight edge extremism, mate. Extremism isn't. It's a whole nother demon altogether.
It could be cult of personality. It could be North Korea. It could be state worship. Cult,
Yep.
Like they have. His granddad who's been dead for a long time, is still the technical president, I think, and leader, head of state of the country. It's a necrocracy. You know what I mean? Like there's, and again with Trump, a cult of personality.
Yep.
Pauline Hanson, you name it. Like there are no infallible popes. There are no dear leaders. There are no one person who has all the. That's what the lack of leadership gives to. Because all these one-issue voters will flock to the demagogues. They'll flock to people that say, you know what, it's not your fault. And everything is not, it's not your fault, it's their fault. And they'll blame the most helpless of us all.
Well, it's one of the oldest tactics in the book, isn't it? Divide and conquer.
That's
yeah,
right. They're not your
100%.
leaders.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing. They have
And
not your...
It's the way you're going to get votes. And, I mean, we watched it with Trump outright. You know, we saw exactly
Hitler.
what he's done. Hitler, man, is a perfect example of, you know, taking people that were down and out and turning that into, you know, a weaponized society, so to speak. I could get right into that, but I don't want to get too far off our topic. But, yeah, it's... I don't know. I definitely agree with you there, Dave, as far as the leadership and the lack of it and the difference that could be made throughout this pandemic, and especially the current issues down there in Melbourne, if the leadership was there. There's been a lot of leaders come out since the desecration of, you know, the memorial, and you know, 2 days in, you know, political leaders are coming out and speaking out against it. That's not the right time. It should have happened prior. It should have, yeah. It could have been avoided, I think, if the leadership had have been there and the information had have been passed on correctly. That could have avoided a lot of this. You're always going to have the naysayers, I think. People that are,
Always.
you know, yeah, you're always going to have those people that say, oh, you know, it's not good for you. But if the information is true and honest, you know, then they're not going to have any effect. And that's where I think this is really exploded from, not just here in Australia, but, you know, all over the world with the false information and people looking for other avenues because, you know, they've still got questions and the information's just not coming through. So, do you think
it's been tough too, because like you look at all, you know, obviously this is spread all over the world, so everyone's been affected by it, but like every country has handled it differently. So I guess the expectation from people when they see one place dealing with it this way, another place dealing with it that way, they then just start to question, well, why are we doing it this way? Why aren't we doing it like that? Like it's...
And that comes down to the internet again, doesn't it? Like having that
100%.
exposure to a lot of things.
Yeah, that's right. But like, you know, look, when it first came out, you look at New Zealand, they just cut everything and went into a hard lockdown, and they were down to 0 cases and went back to normal life. How much before we did?
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
And look at America, they're averaging 2,000 people a week dying. Or is it a day? Look that up, okay? But I think they're average. Look that up. What is the average deaths of COVID in America? It's disgraceful. I'm pretty sure it's a week or a day.
That's incredible, though, isn't it?
No, I'll guarantee that's a day. Let Reese fact check that. If that's the case, that's fucking...
That's 680,000 deaths.
What's their daily deaths? Let me have a look. The taps of the COVID per day.
Yeah, about 2,000. It fluctuates.
A day or a week?
Wow.
That's a day.
Fuck's sake.
That's 2,000 deaths a day.
That's every 3 days, 2 9/11s.
Yeah.
Crazy, man.
Wow, that's every day more than we've had die. And they call us draconian for protecting it. Like, if there was 2,000 Australians dying a day, fuck. I know it's per capita and all, but they're 300,000 versus us, what, 27.
Mate, whether it's per
just
capita or not,
disgraceful.
that's 2,000 people. That's
People. That's
2,000 human beings a
families.
day
Yeah.
dying.
So
If
I
you're
don't know-
not
I don't know
disgusted
how-
by that, you're a shit
I don't know
person.
how
Like,
legit this is, but it's this World Meters coronavirus counter says here that so far there's been 43,532,306 cases, 702,978 deaths,
Yeah.
and 33,033,000 recovered.
And that's in America?
That's America.
Yeah, fuck.
I wonder,
Well,
and it would be
the man
interesting
who-
to see the stats on those that have recovered but still have long-term illness due to it,
Yeah.
because that's the one thing that's come out with the Delta variant, is the it's now affecting the younger generations, and we fall into that. But one thing that's not very well known, is the long-term effects.
Yeah.
We're
Which is-
doing good. We're doing good, all right?
Yeah.
We're getting it done.
We are,
we
man.
need to be more
I mean,
positive about how
We're
good it
50,
is.
slightly over 50% of double vaccinations throughout the population. So that is, we're on our way to
But
getting
think
there.
about
A bit of normalcy again.
the quiet Australians. Like, think about us, like, that day that we had, what was it, 500 people out in front of CMFEU, and then 1 to 2,000, 1 to 1.5 to 2,000. Whoever you listen to people on the other day, there was 90,000 people that got vaccinated in Victoria that day. One of those days, can't remember which one it was. So that's we're doing the right thing. Keep it on. You can't paint the whole movement with that kind of a brush. And to anyone who look, we love you. You're human beings. You deserve our respect regardless. And we're not here to judge you if you're afraid of taking this vaccine, or you're hesitant, or you've got questions. Fact is, we failed you. The country has failed you. The education system's failed you. And I think
Sure, everybody's had some form of hesitation or doubt
Yeah.
about it at some point.
Yeah.
Man,
It's
the
been the better
reason
part of 2 years now, and like, you're not human if you don't question something.
well, the reason I waited for the Pfizer was because I was doubting the information that was coming through about the AstraZeneca.
in Denmark. And then they unbanned it, but they did, like, that was out there, and the narrative was skewed, and you can't blame people for being like, what the fuck's going on? And we don't blame you, and I've got friends that are one way or the other, and I still love yous, and I'll always be here for you, so don't get down in the dumps.
Yeah.
And don't get all snowflakey that we want you to have a vaccine either, you know what I mean? Like, it's only because we love you and we love those around you.
One thing that we, I suppose, we all agree on is,
If some of us sound silly a little bit.
one thing I think we all agree on is, if there is questions, go and ask the professionals. Go and see your doctors. If you're not sure about the vaccine for whatever reason, don't jump on, Facebook and social media, or those skewed internet websites. Go and speak to your doctor, the professionals. Get it firsthand. Get the right information, because that is what we're saying. A lot of is, that's a lot of the reason for the events in Melbourne getting to the level that they have, and that's seen throughout the whole pandemic. The lack of information, and like, you're only going to be better for it, I think. So, boys, gone down the serious track again for this episode, but it's been good. We've been avoiding it for that reason. We didn't want to be jumping into generic talking points that a lot of that it's just getting hammered. People are getting sick of hearing about about COVID. And
Oh, mate, I am sick of hearing about it.
yeah,
It's all anyone talks about anymore.
Yep.
But like, it's. I think this is a conversation I guess that sometimes needs to happen too. So.
Yep. We need to touch base on it just to make sure that we are good. And I will say, anybody that is struggling throughout the lockdowns and the pandemic, if you need help, go and talk to someone beyond Blue, organisations like that. Go out and reach help. It is never ever weak to speak out. Even if you just want to send us a message, if you want to jump in the comments,
DM.
Yep. Yeah. We will be more than happy to have a chat. Everyone's been affected by mental health throughout this pandemic and prior to it.
Yeah.
It's don't ever be ashamed of it. So reach
No
out.
one likes this. No one likes it. It's not good.
It is hard. I mean, half the reason this podcast started was because we weren't able to catch up. We weren't able to see each other in person. We do love getting on, having a few drinks and talking about this stuff.
Getting on there.
Yeah.
Getting on it. We've got a cartoon fireplace here, people. Bear with us, you know what I mean? Like, no one here is paid by the government, you know what I mean? Like, and again, no one here is doctors either. Like Vinno was saying, don't listen to us. Don't listen to politicians. Go to your medical professionals. Listen to the people that have been keeping us alive. That have been keeping it. They may not run Australia, the medical professionals, but they keep it running. Same with the truckies, same with construction, same with manufacturing, same with retail.
Everybody has their part.
That's fucking right. You know, like, and we're doing good. We are doing good. Well, these little couple of thousand people at the most do not represent all of us. But also, you can denounce what they did and some of the bad aspects of it. But you have to, for instance, we didn't talk about this, but there have been some instances where there's been police brutality here, when there's been, and it's fucking so unfortunate. But I've seen protesters been some of them taken out in ways that are not, that I wouldn't like it if I seen it happen to other protesters. So we got to fucking hold firm here. And I do support police and the armed forces going out there and keeping peace. I don't. There was a bit of thuggish behaviour there that I seen, but again, you're talking about people that are throwing piss, and there's bad people. I hate to say both sides this argument, because I am on one side firmly, but we have to recognise the human element here. All those police and then all those protesters, they have families at home, they've got wives, kids, they've got parents, they've got somebody that loves them deeply, and want the best for everyone.
Frustration, man. Everybody's
That's
everybody's
right.
frustrated.
People get pushed to a point. Yeah.
It's perfect to say. Oh, it's easy to say, but in a perfect world, we'd all get along, wouldn't we? But it's that disagreement that drives progression too. So
it's always going to be disagreement,
and the hatred for science that's ruining this world right now.
I'm not even going to entertain that idea, just because.
Entertainer,
I love the science aspect. I'm just not going to mention his name again because we'll go on another tangent. But
his name? You mean he won't blaspheme? He won't blaspheme. Now, look, here's the thing. Look, we know. The reason we didn't want to do this episode really and talk about this is because of how politicised it is, and we don't want to alienate anybody.
Yep.
And we don't want to upset anybody, and we're gonna in every single topic we talk about, we're gonna put our foot in it. We're gonna be wrong. We're gonna be fucking right sometimes too. We're gonna always be good looking. But we're gonna give you good faith. We're not gonna. No one's trying to push anything on anybody. We're just trying to talk about this again. We're all up for disagreements. Throw them in the comments. Maybe we'll do AMA about something like this if it gets that kind of a
response. Yeah,
gets that time
response.
Response. But tell us.
Tell us about your experiences through lockdown, and have you still been able to work? Do you know people that have potentially been sick or passed away, or that have been directly affected by it? And we want to hear everybody's experience. So
absolutely,
because obviously we're just talking about our experiences and what we've seen, and so we're not everyone. We want to broaden our outlook on the whole situation too.
Now, it's not just in the YouTube comments that you can find us. We've changed platforms. We're now on Discord as well. That was one of the things that Reese brought to the table. So
we've got
you'll
a bit
also
of a community starting over there. So
haven't we?
We'll chuck a link in the description of this episode if you want to come and join and talk to us directly, or start it. We want to start a community. We want to.
We want to engage. We want to talk. But we're also on Instagram as well. So if you're on those platforms, please get in. Join the conversation. Don't forget to, David, you're best at this one, but don't forget to like and subscribe. On our YouTube, we love that support.
If you want to know when we're releasing, generally I think we're going to try and do Fridays, but right? We're a bit late this week, but yeah.
Dave's on mute. Dave, you've muted yourself, brother.
How long have I been fucking muted for?
Oh, not long enough.
Who knows, mate?
I'm up to the Conor McGregor defense.
No, we heard that, yeah.
So you mean like talking, but not no one actually hearing anything? Is that what you mean? Or?
Yeah, you're right. People's minds are closed. It's some fifth dimension shit. And I wanted to say, Reese has done a great job with the Discord. Get in there. That's a great way. It's a great community building platform. And if you have any issues and any questions, and you don't want to use YouTube and Instagram, hook in. Let us know what you think.
Oh yeah,
awesome. All right, guys. That brings us to the conclusion of this week's episode. But gonna come back with you next week. We're not sure what we're doing just yet, so we can't give you an idea. But if you have any ideas or anything that you really want us to talk about, get on those platforms. Let us know.
We've got a bit of a recommendations channel in there for you Firesiders. So if there's something you want to hear us talk about, let us know, and maybe we can entertain the idea and probably make idiots of ourselves, or maybe we can be educational, or maybe I don't know. We'll get amongst it.
We'll get around the fireside and we'll talk about it.
Oh yeah,
lads, it's been nearly an hour and a half now, and I need to piss. Let's.
All right, guys.
I'm warm as. Let's go.
All right.
Put this fire out, lads. Who's got the bucket of water? Let's be fire safe around here.
Thanks for watching another episode, guys. We really enjoy the support. Guys, till next week. Take it easy.